Feng Wei is one of the most versatile characters on the roster, but what really makes him stand out is his evasion, making him hard to both keep out and pressure effectively. With his powerful arsenal of pokes, mix-ups, and crouch dash pressure, he can crack open any turtle, and when on the defensive, he has plenty of evasive stances, tricky keep-out moves, and fast counter-hit options to punish overly aggressive opponents. Open-ended playstyle, meaning he can adapt to any situation. Excellent pokes. Very evasive and tricky to pin down. Great panic moves. Simple and effective with punishment. Scary 50-50 mix-ups. Above average wall game. Fantastic rage drive. Powerful okizeme. Weak while standing punishment. One of the worst hop kicks in the game. Mediocre juggle damage. Vulnerable to sidestep left, though he does have good homing moves to make up for this somewhat. Approach options are limited. Needs to use more tools than most other characters in order to succeed. Overall, Feng is great to learn Tekken 7 with. His fundamental tools are both effective and simple, while at higher levels of play, his diverse toolset allows for a lot of personal expression, meaning that no two Fengs ever play alike. Easily one of the most flexible and solid characters in the game, Feng Wei is truly a force to be reckoned with. Back 1, or Talk to the Hand, is one of the best panic moves in the game. It is incredibly fast, coming out at the same speed as a jab in just 10 frames. On normal hit, you get some advantage. However, on counter hit, the opponent is knocked down, and Feng gets a guaranteed shoulder for a good chunk of damage. This still works on a trade with the opponent's jab. This move works beautifully with Feng's own down forward 1, which is neutral on block, and any poke-heavy character has to respect this move. It can also be used to heavily punish strings that you can jab in between, like Devil Jin's Laser Scraper. Do be careful though, as it can be sidestepped to the right, side-walked left, ducked, has very short range, and is punishable by jabs at -10. Though you may be able to get away with this sometimes, as it can be quite tricky to block punish. Of course, it's not something to bank on though. 1-1 and its extensions are a strong addition to Feng's close-range pressure game, and while a bit risky, if the whole string is mixed up effectively, can be very annoying to deal with. This is a high mid, with the second hit leading to a combo on counter hit, so trying to duck and while standing punish Feng is quite risky. This is punishable on block at -11, but 1-1-2 can be used to discourage the opponent from punishing. You need to commit to this beforehand though, and in Season 1, if the second hit was counter hit, you could still convert into a combo after 1-1-2 with a properly timed 1+4. This is unfortunately not possible in Season 2 anymore, as 1-1-2 will keep the opponent's feet on the floor, though you can confirm into a 1-1-2-1 for 35 damage. 1-1-2-1 can also be used to cover 1-1-2 on block, as it's -14. 1-1-2-1 is also unsafe on block at -13, but is the beginning of Feng's 10-hit combo. So the opponent will need to choose between a block punish and a low parry here, as the next two hits in the 10-hit combo are a natural string. Don't continue the 10-hit string after this, as the next hit is always a low that can be easily low parried. Forward 4 is a great keep-out tool while spacing, and up close can lead to some devastating mix-ups. It launches on normal hit and is safe on block. It's a little slow to come out, so we generally recommend using it from a distance, and due to its myriad of string extensions, the opponent should always be second-guessing their approach if you use this move properly. Forward 4 back leads to Feng's back-turn state, which we'll examine in much more detail later. This is generally your best option from forward 4 since you have many options to snuff out overly aggressive opponents, and can create a lot of space with back to down back to potentially bait out whiffs. On hit, you still get a full combo, just tap down forward to turn around and use while standing 1 to convert. On block, you're left at -5, and in back turn, the opponent can punish with jabs or magic 4 strings. Against highs, Feng can tap down back to duck under, though if the opponent uses a mid, they can punish this heavily. From back turned, Feng also has some scary mix-ups, but first, the opponent needs to respect you. Forward 4-3 and forward 4-4 are mid and low extensions respectively, and as well as serving as a canned mix-up in and of themselves, can be used in moderation to stop opponents from pressing buttons after forward 4. Both these extensions are punishable on block, but neither is launch punishable. Forward 4-4 will grant you a full combo on clean hit, and will even go under many mids, but isn't really recommended at higher levels of play since it can be low parried on reaction. Forward 4-3 is completely uninterruptible, and if you land both hits, will result in a knockdown that also floor breaks. If the 3 hits by itself though, the opponent is forced into a hard knockdown that gives you a guaranteed stomp. This is -10 on block, but is mostly unpunishable at max range, except against characters with long-range jabs like Jacques. Forward 1+2 is a new addition to Tekken 7. It is a high homing move that is Feng's main screw starter from his juggles. It has good range, is safe on block, and screws the opponent on natural hit for a juggle, so can be good to occasionally throw out there, especially against opponents who step a lot. Though, do be careful, as it is quite slow, and can of course be ducked. Also on block, it's -9, which is safe, but does mean your turn is effectively over, which can be a very bad position against characters with strong 50-50s. Down forward 1, as with many down forward 1s, is the backbone of Feng's poking game, but it is quite unique. Whereas most generic down forward 1s come out in 13 frames and are slightly negative on block, Feng's is a little slower at 14 frames, but is neutral on block. This works for Feng because he has so many strong options afterwards. Crucially, it means his back 1 will trade with jabs, and since in Tekken 7 this results in a counter hit, is massively in his favor. Down 2 and down back 3 are excellent high crushing low pokes. Back 4 will stop any sidestep attempts. Up forward 2 can be used as an evasive poke against linear moves. And if you want to get really tricky, you can use shifting clouds to reverse strings. We'll look at all these moves in more detail later, but they all work incredibly well with down forward 1. On hit, another down forward 1, back 4, throws, down 4, and down back 3 cannot be interrupted, which really locks the opponent down. Down 4 can't even be low crushed by generic hop kicks, but down back 3 can. On counter hit, the opponent goes into a full back stun. Nothing is guaranteed, but you get a lot of frame advantage, so Feng gets a free mix-up such as his options from quarter circle forward or dashing into sidestep or back turn mix-ups. Do be careful that down forward 1 has pretty bad tracking, being easily stepped to the left, and can also be side-walked right. While standing 1 is another excellent mid-poke, and easily accessed from Feng's crouch dash by doing down forward neutral 1. This makes it Feng's best approach option. Do note that you can hold down forward for a little bit to increase the distance. At -1 on block, you have many of the same options as with down forward 1, except the opponent can now jab interrupt back 1. Also, similarly to down forward 1, this has pretty poor tracking, being especially weak to sidestep left, so don't be predictable. While standing 1 has an extension in while standing 1 too. This is mainly used as Feng's 14-frame punisher from crouch, but can also be used to snuff out attempts to sidestep left. On block, this is unsafe at -10, but Feng can catch out opponents who try to punish with a delayable follow-up while standing 1-2-1, which also wall splits. Though do be careful, as this is -12 on block. Back 4, sometimes referred to as fish hook, is a move that covers a lot of bases. It's an extremely fast homing mid with a very good vertical hitbox. This makes it great at locking down opponents who try to sidestep or use evasive moves or stances. At the wall, this is particularly oppressive to deal with. Do be careful though. First of all, its range is very short, so only use it at close range. On block, it is safe, but -9, which again is dangerous against characters with strong 50-50s. Down forward 2-2 is another powerful mid near the wall, especially now in Season 2 since it serves as Feng's wall bounce. This is a damaging safe on block mid-mid string. It's a bit slow and very linear, but if you've trained the opponent to stay put with back 4, this is a terrifying tool to deal with. Back 1+2 is one of the best block and whiff punishers in the game. It is a fast, hard-hitting shoulder with impressive range that knocks down on normal hit and wall splats. This is Feng's go-to punisher for moves that are -13 on block, and will also reliably hit moves with a bit of pushback, like Lair's while standing 2. It can also punish moves like Death Fist or Heihachi's forward 2, but not at max range, so don't get baited. The shoulder also hits very low to the ground, making it great to snuff out evasive stances, and will even hit certain characters on the ground. This move has a key flaw though. It is very punishable at -19, which means that everyone in the game, even Steve and Bob, can launch punish a badly timed shoulder. Feng's Rage Drive is an enhanced version of his back 1+2, accessed by holding down the punch buttons, that, similar to Leo's or Paul's Rage Drives, can wall splat from a mile away, and yes, you can still get the combo. In open ground, the Rage Drive is +3 on block and pushes the opponent away, resetting the neutral. Feng's Rage Drive is best used when the opponent's back is to the wall though, since on block it will deal a guaranteed 5 points of damage, and also give Feng a whopping +9, essentially giving him a free mix-up. Most opponents are scared to push buttons afterwards, so you can go into Backturned for even more intimidating mix-up options. Forward 3-4 is another great whiff punisher. It is a long-range, natural combo 2-hit string that is Feng's most damaging launcher, and is widely considered to be one of the best get-up kick punishers in the entire game. While you can't hit confirm the string, there is a window before the first part that allows you to confirm a whiff. Do be sure to confirm those whiffs, as this is very launch punishable on block at -16. Do bear in mind that you can just use forward 3 by itself, which at -3 on block is a pretty decent entry tool. However, don't overdo it, as it is slow and very linear. Up forward 2 is a very evasive poke, which sees Feng take a huge step to his left and strike while moving. This is a great panic move when you're under pressure, and when on the offensive can also be used after safe but negative on block moves to slip through the opponent's counterpokes. This will even evade moves that a regular sidestep can't, and can also be used as an option select in certain situations. For example, it's very effective against Katarina's 4-4-4 into Harrier. If they start using tracking moves to catch this, these are generally slow enough to be beat out by back 1 for big damage. Though the move is -10, it's unpunishable by most of the cast due to the pushback on block. Though, do watch out for characters with long jabs. On counter hit, the opponent goes into a crumple stun. However, Feng gets no guaranteed follow-up as the opponent is pushed too far away. But you can dash in for Okizeme. The counter hit property doesn't happen much though, as more often than not, you'll be hitting the opponent's side, which doesn't trigger the stun. This move's biggest weakness is its short range and vulnerability to sidestep left. Down forward 3 is a safe close-range launcher. Due to the weird flip animation, this move doesn't look like it launches. However, it gives you a full combo or normal hit. Being safe on block, it's perfect for enforcing 50-50 mix-ups, for example with sidestep 4, and also hits very low to the ground, so is good at hitting characters out of evasive stances. Though it is quite negative on block, many down forward ones can be evaded afterwards with up forward too. Beware though that it is quite slow, has short range, and is again weak to sidestep left, so should only be used when the opponent is respecting your turn. Sidestep 1+2 is another excellent mid. This wall splats on hit and is +1 on block, leading to even more pressure at the wall, with back 1 being a strong option afterwards as it will now splat on counter hit for a big combo. In open ground, there's too much pushback to capitalize on the plus frames. This makes it the ideal replacement for down forward 3 when at the wall. This move's biggest drawbacks are that it is slow and highly linear. Down forward 3+4 is a long-range homing mid. This move is used to keep the opponent's sidestep in check from a distance, and is also completely safe on block, though your options afterwards are very limited. On hit, the opponent is knocked down, and Feng gets a guaranteed 4-3 for a follow-up. Its main drawback is that it's quite slow. Since the Season 2 patch, it now also screws airborne opponents, though its uses in combos is quite limited. Down back 1 is a long-range, reasonably fast mid-poke. As with many of Feng's moves, it is weak to sidestep left. Down back 1 is good because of all the strong options that stem from it. Down back 1-4 is a new addition to Tekken 7. It's a powerful natural combo string, knocks down on hit, wall splat, and is a good whiff punisher. It's also a good long-range block punisher, but the range is pretty similar to the shoulder, so won't punish stuff like max range Death Fist. This is also a screw move, and will reliably convert into a combo after a jab float. On block, it's only -2, so you can easily put Feng's evasion to good use. But the 4 is a high and doesn't jail, so can be ducked. If you notice the opponent isn't ducking, by all means abuse the hell out of this move. Down back 1-2 serves as the mid mix-up to down back 1-4. This move is another natural combo string, and on counter hit, the second hit can knock down and wall splat. However, it is punishable on block. Both down back 1-4 and down back 1-2 can be heavily delayed to bait retaliation, but won't combo at max delay, even on counter hit. Holding back after down back 1 will transition Feng into Kenpo. This is great for baiting whiffs and punishing the opponent once you've confirmed they've pressed a button. Holding forward after down back 1 transitions into shifting clouds for mix-ups. This will be explored in further detail in the stances section, but is the riskiest option, so only use it if the opponent is hesitating, or if you notice the opponent is pushing buttons after down back 1 to hit Feng's Kenpo transition. Forward 2 is a long-range mid that wall splats on hit, and a pretty strong approach tool. Though it's -10 on block, it has a bit of pushback, and with proper spacing, most characters can't punish it, though Gigas and Jacques can punish it more consistently. Again, it's very weak to sidestep left. Up forward 3 is a move that is often overlooked, but is a great tool to add to your arsenal. It's quite similar to Dragunov's up forward 4, This is a low crushing mid that gives you a small combo afterwards with 4-3. It's very safe at -2, and thanks to Feng's evasion, you have many strong options afterwards. If the wall is to Feng's right, he can convert into a full combo with 1+4. Its downside is that it's quite slow at 21 frames, and has weak tracking, especially against, you guessed it, sidestep left. Down back 3, sometimes better known as the James Brown, is an amazing low. It's fast, high crushes, has great range, good tracking in both directions, and on top of all this, it's +4 on hit, and forces crouch, which is amazing for a move of this type. Afterwards, a while standing 4 is uninterruptible and can't be sidestepped, and on counter hit gives Feng a free mix-up. Once the opponent is respecting you, you can start mixing up between fully crouched down forward 1, a high crushing low poke that catches sidestep when Feng is on player 1 side, and fully crouched down forward 2, a mid that grants a full combo and catches sidestep when Feng is on player 2 side. Or you can crouch cancel with a sidestep and just continue poking. And if the opponent is really hesitating, go for a mix-up. Don't get too predictable with this move, however. At -15 on block, most of the cast can launch punish it. And it also leaves Feng open to powerful counter-hit mids. Down 2 is another strong high crushing low poke. Compared to down back 3, it's considerably safer on block, not being launch punishable by anyone, and on counter hit you get a free crouch cancel into a stomp. While it deals more damage on hit, it's slightly negative afterwards, so isn't as effective at enforcing pressure, with many of Feng's options afterwards being stopped by, you guessed it, sidestep or sidewalk left. Speaking of which, down 2 is itself also weak to sidestep left, with the opponent often ending up behind Feng. Due to Feng's weird hitboxes, this can actually make this move hard to launch punish for certain characters. Sidestep 4 is a high-risk, high-reward sweep. This is one of Feng's scariest close-range mix-up tools, granting a full combo on hit when at close range, which is to say a clean hit. At further ranges, it won't trip, except on counter hit, where it trips at any range. This is mainly used in mix-up scenarios, using it in conjunction with sidestep down forward 3 in the open, and sidestep 1+2 when at the wall. Sidestep 4 also has very good tracking, which covers one of the biggest weaknesses for those mids that you mix it up with. Don't get too predictable with this though, as on block it is very punishable. Feng has a variety of powerful stances with both defensive and offensive applications. While at a lower to intermediate level of play, you can get away with just sticking to top moves, utilizing Feng's stances effectively is key to unlocking his true potential. Kenpo is a defensive stance that is useful for creating whiff opportunities while in the neutral, and generally punishing overly aggressive opponents that are eager to rush in. It also has an auto block that blocks highs and mids, though this doesn't become active until 19 frames in. In Season 1, auto block came out in 14 frames, so it's been made 5 frames slower. You'll now have to be more careful when using Kenpo stance, since it's quite a bit riskier. Kenpo 1 is a high crushing low that deals solid damage on hit, so is a good attack to use if you see the opponent rush in and think they'll attack with a high. On hit, Feng's at +8 and forced into crouch, but the opponent remains standing. Even still, they can't interrupt or sidestep while standing 4 or while standing 1 afterwards. On counter hit, the opponent is knocked down and you get a guaranteed forward 3. On block, this is -13, so launch punishable only by a handful of characters. Kenpo 2 is a fast whiff punisher, and Interrupter if you think the opponent will rush in with a slower mid. Kenpo 2 is safe, and on hit the opponent is knocked down, similarly to counter hit back 1, so you get a free shoulder for good damage. This is high though, so can be ducked. Kenpo 3 is your go-to move to capitalize on a big whiff, as you can get a full juggle from it. Don't use it unless you've confirmed the whiff, as the move is very slow, punishable on block at -12, and also very easy to punish on whiff. Kenpo 4 is a gimmicky Hail Mary move, quite similar to Brian's Back 4. It's linear, slow, and can be jab floated, but unlike Brian's Back 4, at least it's safe on block. On whiff, it can be a little tricky to punish due to its low hurt box, but most of the cast has a low hitting mid that does the job. Feng also has a follow-up in Kenpo 4 3+4, which is the same as his grounded face-up 3+4, which can deter punishment. But this is quite inconsistent and mainly just leaves Feng wide open. At higher levels of play, this move is generally best avoided. Feng's quarter circle forward is a roll dash that's used to both close space and enforce mix-ups. By doing just down, forward neutral, Feng can perform his while standing moves. You can hold down forward to increase the distance, and by continuing to hold down forward, you gain access to his fully crouch moves. So all in all, you have tons of options from the roll dash. A fun movement option from quarter circle forward is called Snake Dash, performed by cancelling the quarter circle forward with up to sidestep. You can use this to cancel the movement into a block, potentially baiting out a whiff, or do repeated quarter circle forwards to close distance and induce hesitation. Quarter circle forward 1 is Feng's infamous low-hitting shoulder. This deals a good chunk of damage, and boasts impressive range and tracking. On normal hit, this has quite a bit of pushback, essentially resetting the neutral. On counter hit though, this launches for a full combo. This move is great to mix with quarter circle forward 1+2, which we'll look at in more detail soon, or quarter circle forward while standing 1, which both lead to pressure on block. As an added bonus, since it's a shoulder, quarter circle forward 1 cannot be low parried. However, this move is a bit slow, so sharp opponents can block on reaction and punish. At -14, a decent amount of the cast can actually launch punish it. If you notice the opponent is blocking on reaction, try mixing in quarter circle forward 2. This is a launching mid that has a similar looking startup to quarter circle forward 1, so can be an effective if somewhat risky mix-up, as it is also -14 on block. Quarter circle forward 1+2, better known as
Le Zidane,
is a powerful pressure tool. It is a fast mid that leaves you at +5 on block and the opponent in crouch, albeit with some pushback, which does mean a lot of your options can be backdashed and punished. So it's suggested to stick to moves which have decent range, such as the down back 1 series, down forward 4, and down back 3. Note that the down back 1 series is especially effective when Feng is on the player 1 side, as it can't be sidestepped anymore. On counter hit, the move grants a knockdown and Feng gets a guaranteed stomp for a nice chunk of damage. If this connects on an airborne opponent, perhaps if they were trying to hop kick a quarter circle forward 1, it will floor break on Forgotten Realm. Another thing to note is that since it's a headbutt, it's immune to most parries and reversals, except for Jin and Geese of course. Backturned is a high-risk, high-reward mix-up stance with a ton of options. This can be used as a strong Okizeme option after a knockdown, and whenever the opponent is respecting you, for example if you have a lot of plus frames, or hold mental frame advantage, for example when the transition is covered by the second hit in the string, such as the previously mentioned forward 4 string being one of the best entries to Backturned. Do beware that Feng can't block while his back is turned, and most of the moves are very linear, so this stance is all about commitment. Let's now take a look at all of Feng's ways to enter Backturned. Manually with back 3-4, 2-4-1 back, which cancels the last hit, 3-3-4 back, which again cancels the last hit, 3-3-4, 1-2-2 back, 3-4 back, forward 4 back, sidestep 2, sidestep 3 back, sidestep 3-2. Let's now take a look at Feng's best moves from Backturned. Backturned 1 is a fast high jab with good range, and good at interrupting opponents who try to retaliate against Backturned. On block, it's very safe at -1, and on hit you're at +14 and get a guaranteed back 1+2 for good damage, and it's easily hit confirmable due to the readable stun. Backturned 4 is even faster, but less rewarding on hit. As highs, these can of course both be ducked. Backturned 2 is a mid-poke. This keeps Feng in Backturned and close to the opponent for another mix-up. If they try to retaliate, Backturned 2-2 leads to a full combo on counter hit and can be also delayed, but is punishable on block. Use this move to harass and intimidate the opponent. Backturned 3 is a powerful but slow mid that leaves the opponent at -8 and forces crouch on both hit and block. This can also be performed with forward 3 and is useful in certain Okizeme scenarios as it hits grounded opponents. This also floor breaks and can be used after a juggle carries to a wall splat on Forgotten Realm. On counter hit, the opponent is launched for a very damaging combo, but this is rare since it's so slow. 1+2 is Feng's overall best mid option out of Backturned. This is a safe double elbow mid that crumples on hit for some great Okizeme options, such as Backturned 3. On block, you can hold down back to move away and reset the neutral. At the wall, you can get a conversion into a combo. This move is very integral if you're going to use Backturned stance, as Feng's scariest options are lows and highs, so this is used to keep them standing. Backturned up forward 4 is a generic Backturned hop kick that launches for a full juggle. This is a good mid to use if you want more reward than Backturned 1+2. You can also duck in Backturned to trick the opponent into thinking you're doing Backturned down 3 and then hit them with this. Speaking of which, Backturned down 3 is what makes the stance scary. As a fast, high-crushing low sweep that tracks both ways and launches for a full combo both in open ground and at the wall, this is the reason why you can't just sidestep Backturned all day, and is what makes opponents want to duck. On block, just about the whole cast can launch punish this though, so use with caution. As with sidestep 4, this will only launch on a clean hit, but on counter hit at any range. If you want to catch out stepping opponents and don't want to commit to a down 3, down 4 is a little low poke that also has good tracking and is considerably safer on block, plus on hit, and high crushes much sooner. So after a Backturned 2 on block, you can successfully evade highs with this. With Backturned 1+4 or 2+3, Feng tosses the opponent into the air and onto his head, with his spinal column taking the full brunt of their weight. Surprisingly, this doesn't paralyze Feng, but instead deals a massive amount of damage to the opponent, and also grants some decent Okizeme, with down 4 hitting everything except if the opponent taps up to quick stand. It is a 1+2 break though, so a little telegraphed, but a tricky thing about Feng's Backturned is that generic throws also look like 1+2 grabs, forcing the opponent to guess a break. Backturned down back is a slippery movement option to back away from the opponent. You are left in crouch, so you can use while standing moves if the opponent tries to chase you down. And Backturned down forward is another option to turn around, granting Feng access to all of his while standing or fully crouch options. The duck can be used to make the opponent think you're doing back-turn down 3, and then surprise hit them with a mid option. Shifting Clouds seems amazing on paper. By pressing forward 3+4, Feng will wave his arms around, reversing all high and mid punches or kicks. If 2 or more strikes are reversed, he will automatically perform a strike which knocks the opponent down and wall splats. This can be just frame blocked if the opponent is really on point, but that's pretty rare. Feng then gains access to a fast but unsafe mid launcher, a slow but heavily plus on block high, and a powerful low that leads to a free stomp on counter hit. So theoretically, this can be used to both steal an opponent's turn before launching into a mix-up if they don't bite. Problem is, every single option can be sidestepped to the left pretty easily, and given the telegraphed entry animation, he's quite literally waving his arms around. Coupled with how long Feng is left vulnerable if you don't press any buttons, it's a massive risk for not much reward. Overall, Shifting Clouds can be a decent reversal against characters who like to stick close and constantly pressure with jab strings like Kazumi or Steve, and may also catch the opponent sleeping when used in moderation, but is generally best avoided at higher levels of play.